you're recording it already.
This is going on the tube.
What's going on too? Oh my gosh. Oh man, if only we had like a little like wine or whatever. The house.
I,
Ooh, next time.
well, I'm sipping pre-workout. Like most people will be like sipping like coffee or tea, but I literally have like the pre-workout in the tub, and I'm just like,
What the fuck? You're such a. Oh my god, that's okay.
oh
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
that's
focus.
really okay. All right, we already started the show. Like I think the main title of this is like vegan turns carnivore, and I have my
Turns omnivore.
carnivore. I mean, like vegan turns carnivore. Like for some time anyway. Like you
Okay, okay.
because I think for me, what I'm interested in is like you went from like a more like vegan lifestyle, and I think like you flipped to 180 at one point and went to like
I did.
carnivore. And so I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to get experiences on like both ends of the spectrum between like
Okay.
what was your experience on vegan and what was your experience on carnivore. We'll go through it step by step.
Okay.
And for people who don't know, this is my dearest cousin, Sonari.
Hi.
Hello to the
Oh,
internet.
I didn't even know we were starting yet, but
But I mean, like,
okay.
yeah, we're essentially starting.
Yeah,
This will probably in the video, assuming I don't cut this out. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
it's fine. It's organic. It's real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I guess tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Anything you want to say to people? Yeah, let's start there.
Okay, so my name is Sonari Lim. I the Lim is Gary Lim, Gary Lim, Sonari Lim. That's I'm Gary's cousin. And who am I? Ooh, that's
Yes,
such a
who
deep
are you?
question.
I know. Yeah, it's a very open answer or like very open question. There's so
Um,
many ways to answer this.
I know, I know. So I am originally from California, and I moved to Florida recently to start a brand new life. And I've just got into real estate investing. And I am a person who is constantly and consistently always working towards being the best version of myself so that I can perform at optimal levels so that I can show up to the world and be the best version of myself. And then so that I can ultimately make an impact and inspire other people to be the best version of their self. So we can all hold hands and sing kumbaya.
That was like a really good answer. Like, that was way better. Like that was way better than I anticipated. That was really good.
I didn't expect that either.
I know. Yeah, that was amazing. Like and like for like some of the people watching, like I drop you off to the airport one time in Florida, and you're like, okay, I'm moving here. Just like straight
Yeah.
moving there.
Yep. I'm very like I follow my intuition and I take
uh,
leaps of faith into the unknowns.
yeah.
And I'm always, the ultimate thing I think it's kind of like a good background, a little bit more about myself as we get into this conversation is I'm a student of life. Like I'm always learning and that's all we can really do. We can't really focus too much on all of the information that we have because there's so much information. And so the best way to truly study is to like experience and like go through it yourself. So I'm always experiencing new things, experiencing new diets, experiencing new places to live, experiencing
Mhm.
new activities that can, stimulate my mind and get me to see things from new perspectives.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think you have to like live it. Like you'll learn the best when you actually live and go through it. Like rather than say like I don't know. I guess it's almost like book smart versus street smart. That's kind of like the analogy I want to give. It's something like that.
Right,
Just
right, right.
just go live it.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so I know you were like vegan at one point. How long was that? Like how long were you
So,
vegan for?
I went vegan in 2017,
Okay.
and then I broke that about I don't know 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what made you like go like vegan slash veg? Did you start off with vegan or were you vegetarian first?
Actually, okay, so this is what happened. So this was at the beginning of my spiritual awakening. I don't know how. Yeah, okay, so this was at the beginning of my spiritual awakening in 2017. And what that means is that was the year that I realized that there was, that's when I realized that there was a lot of information that I needed to seek for myself versus just listening to what everyone else had to say.
Mhm.
And at that time I was an omnivore. I ate everything.
Okay.
And I saw this documentary on Netflix,
Mm.
and it was called What the Health. And it went into, how meat was like a carcinogen, and how it was not the healthiest thing for us. And
Mm.
this was around the time where I learned about energy and how energy transfers.
Okay.
And I was researching, like, I was awakening to this new truth where it was like, okay, like, if you, and this was the truth at that time that I was learning, is that like, if you eat meat, then you're harming the animals.
Mm.
Because we do have a lot of factories here that treat animals in a very inhumane way.
Sure. Sure.
That energy transfers to you when you eat it. And environmentally, it's not good for the planet. And then, like, on a physical level, like, I was under the impression that meat wasn't good for me, especially from this documentary and from like researching more and more about veganism and why people don't eat meat. I
Yeah.
was just like, oh whoa, like, I've been lied to my whole life. And it was almost like a rebellious act of like, oh, like, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. But to answer your question, I didn't instantly go vegan. That was when I started to eat more fruits and more vegetables versus meat. And then I kind of let that organically happen. It was kind of like one day, like shortly after, I went to go eat pho,
Yeah.
very popular in San Jose in
Yeah. Sure.
California.
Mm.
Um, and I put the like meat, the steak in my mouth, and
Uh-huh.
like I almost like had this like gag. I was like, oh, like, I don't
Yeah.
want to eat this. And that was the
Uh-huh.
day that I quit red meat.
Okay.
And
That's
then, but I
very
was still
on the
eating.
spot.
Yeah, it was very on the spot because
Right.
like the moment you eat it and you want to gag it, it was like, oh, well, I'm
Uh-huh.
done. I'm not eating
Uh-huh.
this. But then I was still eating fish. So then I transitioned to pescatarian
Right.
for a few
Okay.
years. And then I transitioned to vegetarian. And
Okay.
then ultimately I went full vegan.
Did you notice any differences, I guess, between say being like going through your transition between like pescatarian, vegetarian, and vegan? Were there actually like noticed like any distinctions between say like you and your health between each of those stages?
Yeah, I would definitely say that I did notice a difference. And so, like, a disclaimer that I would like to mention is that these dietary preferences I don't think any of them are right or wrong. I think it's just relative to where you are at that moment.
Mm.
So what I mean by that is, before I went vegan, I was eating like anything and everything. I was a foodie. I was like, eat,
Oh
eat,
yeah.
eat, eat, like, don't care, like, eat, drink,
Yeah.
whatever, like. And
Yeah.
so I wasn't necessarily healthy, right? So
Mm.
then, because I transitioned to vegan, like eating, transition to veganism or vegetarianism, I did notice that I felt healthier. I felt more clear, I felt
Okay.
like
Yeah.
more, yeah. So
Like
I
cleaner
did
kind
notice.
of
Hmm?
like cleaner.
I felt cleaner, a lot cleaner. I felt
Yeah.
lighter.
Yeah.
Like all of the lethargy that I felt, like, because when I used to eat everything and anything, I'd feel like, after a heavy meal, you're just like, oh, like, I don't want to do anything. Like, I just want to like go to bed
Okay.
or like watch TV. Like,
Okay.
that eradicated, and then the fruit and the vegetables and whatnot gave me more energy and more
Got it.
clarity
Okay.
as well. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And so I guess let's just go right into it. So why did you switch to carnivore? Or let's start there. Like why did you switch to carnivore for some time?
it,
Well, I guess how long were you carnivore? Because I know it wasn't that long.
it wasn't that long.
Okay.
Um, so so I switched to carnivore again. I broke it around like a couple months ago.
Uh-huh.
And the reason for that is because for some reason, I was starting to get information from other sources that said, like, this whole carnivore diet thing is actually healthy for you. And
Mhm.
initially, like, I rejected it because obviously I've been vegan my whole life and vegetarian my whole life. I like, the brain naturally goes like, nope,
You just
like,
don't want to accept the information. Yeah.
you're just like, no, like, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But then after it kept appearing and appearing and appearing, I was like,
Yes. Also, I was carnivore like around this time too. Like yeah, like I was carnivore at one point and you were like vegan at one
I was
point.
vegan. Yeah,
We were like
yeah.
polar like opposites
Polar opposite.
here.
I know. And it's funny because I remember Brian mentioned that you were carnivore, and he mentioned that you had the same experience going carnivore that I had going vegan. We both
Oh
experienced
yeah.
clarity and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
feeling
yeah.
better, which
Uh-huh.
is what I mean by it's relative, right? It's
Yes,
relative to who
yeah.
you are and where you're at. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
And
think
it's
there's
kind
a
of
right.
and it's like the information you're taking in. Like around that time I was like taking in like information from carnivore. watched
Hmm.
like researched a whole bunch of stuff on its benefits, gave it a shot, and I was like, you know what, there's something to this, like I do believe like
Right.
I'm not gonna recommend it to everyone. It's kind of like do your own research.
Right.
Like we're not like dietitians, we're not authorized to like give you those recommendations, but do your own
Yeah.
research and see if you want to try it for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I do remember. And then so I was getting all this information, and like what really triggered for me though was I met a vegan who was vegan for like years, right? And his energy was very similar to mine in the way that I operate. And he went carnivore. And
Mhm.
then we were having a conversation about it. And that was the first time that it sparked within me. It was like, ooh, someone else who was vegan for a really long time for the same reason that I was vegan
Yeah.
did his own research and then learned, and then he went carnivore. And
Yeah.
that was the first
Okay.
time I was like, oh, maybe I should be just open to
Just
learning,
open to the idea. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
just open
Okay.
to learn. Yeah.
How long were you carnivore for?
It was only like, I don't know, like a month or two
A month?
months or something like that.
2 months.
It
Okay,
wasn't that
that's
long.
still a good amount of time.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Okay. And then what was your initial experience, I guess, like switching to carnivore, like from vegan?
Carnivore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so so it was at first it was weird. Like
Yeah.
my
Oh, I'm
first
sure.
burger, yeah,
Yeah.
it felt very uncomfortable, and I was like, oh man, you know. But after that first meal, and after I had my second one, it's weird. It was almost like I was never vegan. It was that easy to just go back.
Like,
The last
okay.
5 years didn't even exist. I was like just eating.
Okay, okay. So the
um,
transition was quite simple then. Like it didn't take you that long to adapt. It was just the first meal.
no. And I was concerned that my body, again, the disclaimer, everyone's different. This is just my experience. But I was concerned that my body would react because I hadn't had meat in so long, and I'd have to transition slowly. Dude, I was eating like steak after steak after
Yeah.
steak, and I was
Okay.
fine.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, so the first one was weird, and then the second time I went to a restaurant by myself, and I
Mm.
sat down and I ordered, and I was intermittent fasting too, so it was like my
Okay.
only meal of the day, and I
Mm.
ordered a ribeye with garlic butter, and I was so
Okay.
happy. It was so good. I ordered. It was so good. I was sitting there by myself eating the steak, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
the waitress comes and she's like, "Here's your check," and I'm like, "I'm gonna order another one."
Okay. God damn. Wait, what restaurant were you at? Was this like a fancy restaurant or was this like a I don't want to say Denny's, but was it fancy? Was it Denny's? Was it like in
It
between?
was probably like an in between, maybe a little bit higher than the in between.
Okay,
I mean,
okay,
it was like
okay.
yeah, I was, and it was like 3 o'clock. No one was there. I was like pretty much by myself, just like
So you got two
eating
steaks.
two steaks.
Or are these like 8 ounces, 12 ounces?
No regrets. It was so good. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
gosh. Yeah, it was delicious. But anyway, so
Yeah. That is
uh,
that, I will say one thing, like I guess like being like on carnivore like myself is it does kind of reset your palate. Um
mm,
yeah, being carnivore I have noticed kind of resets your palate. And when you do get hungry, for some reason like food tastes like really, really good. Like it
mm,
kind of
true.
resets your hunger cues, I guess.
Right.
So I notice when I'm hungry, like my sense of smell gets
Mhm.
better and food tastes way better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. So I think that definitely contributed to that wow factor
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
that I
yeah,
experienced.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah.
also some like general carnivore like guidelines. Like I think it's just
Mhm,
eat until you're full and then stop when you're
mhm,
full and just like eat when you're
mhm.
hungry. Like it's very simple guidelines.
It's so simple. Yeah. It's
It's so
basically like
simple.
listen to your body. I
Oh,
love that.
listen to your body for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of want to, if you don't mind,
Yeah, go
touch
for it.
on the benefits, like the benefits that I saw in carnivore, because not only did like the
Oh yeah,
specific
yeah. Okay, yeah.
that I was like, oh, okay, like because it's a big decision to
Yeah,
jump
yeah,
from
yeah. Okay.
veganism to carnivorism. So these are the reasons why I was like, okay, like I see, I have more clarity
Yeah.
and reason to transition to carnivorism. Carnivorism is that a word?
Carnivorism. I think it's just carnivore. A carnivore. Yeah.
Carnivore. Um, But the reason is so this is what I learned. I learned that it's not so much that meat is bad for you, right? And I think even like to today, I'll touch on that later, but it was just more so like the quality of the meat. So if
Mm,
you're getting your meat from a factory farm and it's getting
right.
mistreated, yeah, the
Yeah.
energy of that suffering and that pain, it will transfer to you, and that was the big
Uh-huh.
part as to like why. And then like they're pumping like growth hormones and like blah 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 blah.
Sure.
Like if you're
Sure.
eating
Yeah.
a bunch of that, that's not healthy for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you source your meat and you get it from like raised humanely, killed humanely, fed grass, whatever, like like high quality, good quality meat,
Yeah.
then um then meat is actually, our body actually does need meat. And
Yeah.
it's just that if you're sourcing it from, of course we can't be perfect, but if you're sourcing it from, it depends on the source of it. So what triggered in my mind was, before I thought meat is bad for the body, and then the the rewiring of how I perceive that was, it's not that meat's bad for the body, it's the
Okay.
source of the meat.
Is where it came from and how it was
That's
treated
where it came
beforehand.
from.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I do agree with you. All like the growth hormones and like I've noticed like preservatives in foods will mess me up.
Right.
And like you're just eating those and like I do believe like in most cases, like if you just stick towards like more like organic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of something, but there's like I don't know if it's a diet or something, but it's like a one ingredient list. It's like if you were to like you should be buying stuff that has like only like one ingredient,
The
or
least ingredients
like the
possible.
least ingredients possible. Yeah, like you go buy butter, it should just say like butter, and
Right.
then it should
Right.
and like you should be able to like pronounce everything
Yes.
on there. And so like
Exactly.
yeah, so I think there's like some truth to that. Is like you like
Oh
being
yeah.
more like organic in that sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the more simple it is, the better, so that we're not just taking in all of this like synthetic,
Oh yeah, yeah,
man-made, unhealthy
yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah, that shit will fuck you up.
I know. I know. I mean, but there's, we laugh about it, but there's so much truth to it, and it
There is, yeah.
literally fucks us up, and people literally get sick from it.
And,
And
like you don't even know. Like actually, that's
exactly,
one thing you don't even know. Like
you
so,
don't
like
even know.
yeah, like one thing with carnivore that I learned when I first started is it's almost like a cleanse. It's like people use carnivore as a way to like if you have some sort of autoimmune disorders and like you think it may be dietary, you can resort to carnivore to kind of like cleanse like to kind of cleanse your food options and start reintroducing foods and kind of see
Mm,
what re-triggers you.
okay, I
Like
didn't know that.
re-triggers your autoimmune disorders or whatever disorders you have. Yeah. So there's
Oh
some
wow.
like benefits to doing that.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so what were like other like I guess benefits? Like I know you said you were like vegan, vegetarian, you felt a lot cleaner. Like that was like I guess like a big benefit. What was the benefit of carnivore?
Okay, so let me think about this. I did so when I went vegan, I did feel that sense of clarity. And then when I started eating meat again, I I don't I think the biggest shift when I started eating meat again was that I felt balance coming back to myself.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
even on a like physical level, like when I was vegan, like I was very skinny, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think like naturally, like you want to be healthy, and healthy is neither fat nor skinny. It's a
Okay.
balance,
Like in
you know?
between.
And like the carnivorism actually like gave me back like the meat, the fat, whatever, the protein that like my
Protein.
body needed. And like
Yeah.
I felt that, and I looked like, I started to look more like, in my perspective, like better, healthier.
Yeah.
Um, and and I still felt good. I didn't feel lethargic. I didn't feel anything like that. So I think it was just more so an awareness that, um, and just I think the biggest lesson that I learned from veganism and carnivore carnivore
Uh-huh.
is not so much that vegan is right and carnivore is right, or
Oh
one
yeah.
is bad and one is
Uh-huh.
good.
Hmm.
I think the ultimate like overarching lesson that I learned is just awareness. Like,
Yeah.
what meat are you eating? What is it doing to my body? How much of it should I eat? How much vegetable should I eat? How much fruit should I eat? And how is it relative to like what my goals are and like where I am today? And like
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just the awareness itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, nothing's ever truly like black and white. It's
Right.
always just like shades of gray everywhere. You kind of just learn to see things from both perspectives.
It's just so different. Let's just say if you had like it's relative. If you had like
Yeah.
a overly obese person,
Uh-huh.
then maybe it would benefit them to have more fruits and vegetables and go vegan for a little bit and allow their body to reset in that way, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Or if you're super whatever and like you need a little bit more meat. I don't know. It's just and there's so many different angles and aspects to this, but it's just all relative.
Right now I'm thinking back to like when you were taking your first like bite of like meat when you first switched to like vegetarian veganism is like
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that had to be like mental then. Like it was just like the information you were like being fed just kind of
Yes.
like just turned you off from like all of it.
Exactly. And that's why, the thing is that I learned about information is that there's so much information out there. And not only is there so much information, there's so much information that conflicts each other.
Oh yeah, you'll have like information like I mean you'll see like I mean there could be like a war. There could literally
Yeah.
be between like veganism and like carnivore. Like there could
Yeah.
and like there you'll have like both sides supporting their own things and like
And
they're both
yeah. And they're both educated authors that are speak upon
yeah.
this. Like,
Oh
okay,
yeah, yeah,
it's like, well,
definitely.
like then what's the truth? Like which one is it
Yeah,
then?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the I don't know, like the truth is there is no truth.
The
like,
truth is there is no truth.
like I
The
don't
truth
know.
is like that's the thing. The truth is relative to like you,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like what makes sense for you, what works for you.
Yeah.
Try it out, see for
I don't know.
yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. See how you feel. So I'm in a stage in my life where now after all of those experiments,
Mhm.
I'm trying to like decide and like fine tune like okay, like well what is my diet now then? Like
Okay,
what do
okay.
I eat?
Yeah, yeah. So that actually feeds into my next question, which is like, what
Okay.
is your dietary preference at the moment?
Okay. Um so excuse me. So what I've been like bouncing back and forth for the last like 2 weeks
Okay.
trying to just like wrap my head around like what now?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, do you
I
go vegan, do you carnivore, do you just AWOL it and just go crazy again? Like,
I
what do you
know.
do?
So I came to the conclusion, two conclusions. One conclusion is quality, just quality. Like
Okay.
you can eat an unhealthy vegetable and fruit if it's inorganic and it's got same thing, same story, hormones and a
Okay.
bunch of pesticides
Yeah.
versus getting it at an organic market. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so first and foremost, quality of fruit, quality of vegetables, quality of meat. Like it's just the quality. So that's my first like okay, like I'm not gonna be perfect, but I'm gonna try my best
Okay.
to
Okay.
get as best quality as I can.
Yeah.
The second one is I decided that neither of these foods are good or bad. Again, it's the quality of it. So I choose to eat um, pretty much like everything again.
Okay.
Uh, but I'm going to, and this is pretty obvious for you athletes out there. So what I'm going for is the high protein,
Mhm.
the some greens,
Yeah.
low carbs,
Hmm.
and like keto. Like so fats are good, like fats are a go, protein high protein is a go. I'm
Hmm.
gonna lay off as much as I can with the like white carbs, the bad carbs, with the exception of like here and there, like I'll allow myself to eat. And that's the other thing that I've ultimately gained from this experience is like no more restrictions, man.
Yeah. Kind of
It's
like
not
live your life.
sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's be mindful. Like I'm choosing to be mindful. I'm choosing to be
Yeah.
discerning. I'm choosing to make the best possible decisions, but I'm not going to restrict myself either.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think after like I think for you, I think going through like vastly contrasting like experiences,
Mhm.
you like you've developed like this intuition to just kind of like listen to your body, and I
Exactly.
think like it takes some time. Like, and I'm kind of like the same way for the most part. It's like I've learned to like listen to my body, and I
Right.
found like I just overwhelmingly prefer to be like carnivore, but I do take in
Mhm.
carbs. Like I have actually one carb refeed day.
Okay.
Um, and I'm like experimenting with that at the moment. I find that that's been working so far. Maybe it won't work
Okay.
later, but right now that's working for me.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like listen to your body, and like I like the quality. Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of sense to me. Just make sure whatever you're eating is good quality.
Mhm.
non-GMO, like no like random hormones or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We should all do our own research. We should all do our own due diligence, and we should
Yeah,
all, take into consideration like where we're at and like what works
yeah,
for us, with
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
intention of like being as healthy as you can, even though healthy is arbitrary.
yeah, yeah. Healthy, like I guess relative, but yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah. Like
relative.
do your own research. Like don't do carnivore because I say to do carnivore. I
Exactly.
never recommend carnivore like to anyone. As it's
Oh,
always,
really?
no. Like it's because it's so like radical. Like you can't really. I can't. I don't feel like comfortable recommending it to anyone. It's
Right,
always just like you got to do your own research, and then
right.
make that choice for yourself. Like if you want to
Exactly.
like take part of this path.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or if the thing is nothing is permanent and we're all here to experience. So like if you want to
yeah,
like experiment literally, try
yeah.
vegan,
Experiment.
try vegetarian, try carnivore, and then like
Yeah.
see, okay, which one did I like the most? Which one worked for me?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah,
Mhm.
there's no right or wrong answer. It's just you just gotta figure it out for yourself and just try a bunch of things out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, in a world that tries to tell you what to do, what's right, what's wrong, man, just listen to like yourself
Yeah.
and see what works for you. Like
Yeah.
that's all that really
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah. That's true. At the end of the day, you're the only person who really like knows yourself and knows your own
Exactly.
body. And
Yeah.
like you'll know like how your body will react to like certain things. Like no one else can really do that
Exactly.
for you.
Yeah, and like and then even if someone let's just say like someone was like wholeheartedly had good intentions and it's like, oh my God, carnivore is like the best thing ever because it worked for them.
Yeah.
But their
Yeah.
body is different than your body. So like it just might not work for you,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. You'll have people on both ends of the spectrum like experiencing success.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for being on call with me. I hope like
You for the
the people
invite.
enjoyed your here listening to your experience on being like vegan and carnivore and yeah, any last parting words?
Again, just to recap, listen to your own body,
Mhm.
and make the best decision for yourself, and just learn, just learn and experience, and then see what works for you. And hopefully, my experience was able to help shed light and inspire anyone who's watching this as well. And um, subscribe to Gary. Like, subscribe.
Yes. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll promote the channel.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Blow it up.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys for watching.